All right, sorry for the break in transmission. Yes, Humanist TV Africa, we are here with you uh, on the ground at Humanist TV Africa. All right, all right. Welcome once again to another edition of this report on Humanist TV Africa. Always subscribe on YouTube or Facebook at Humanist TV Africa to join us on our daily newspaper report. You can always write to us if there is any confusion. You can always write to us at info@humanisttvafrica.com, or you hit us on WhatsApp with the number on the screen +25 47 47 35 67 67. That is our WhatsApp line. You can always hit us and make certain inquiry. If there's anything you want to say to us, you can do that. On today's newspaper report, with my humble self, Obasi, Ikechukwu, We shall be bringing you hot headlines. Headlines of what is happening in Nigeria, where I am domiciled, and other parts of the world, parts of Africa, parts of the world generally, because the world is nothing but a global village. That is why I keep telling people, you that is saying village people, you don't want to stay in the village. Anywhere you are is someone's village. Even United States of America, all this jackpot syndrome and everything. If you go to United States of America and say that you have left village, you have not. You have just left your own village and gone to another man's village. Everywhere is a village. So that is why the world is a global community. All right, let's go to the hot headlines for today. Let's go to your hot headlines for today. The first one making the headline is the one from Sarah Reporters. Let's take this one. BBC investigation unveils late Nigerian pastor TB Joshua's atrocity, life of abuse, harassment, rape, manipulation, stage miracles. This is coming from Sarah Reporters. BBC investigation unveils late Nigerian pastor TB Joshua's atrocities, life of abuse, harassment, rape, manipulation, stage miracles. Sarah Reporters. Well, I wonder why this is coming now. I wonder why. Though there was a report that someone alleged that he's staging fake miracles, but he actually debunked that. And now lots of plethora of accusations are coming up against him. So I will not hint much on this because there is a show dedicated to TB Joshua and Nigerian pastors that is coming up this afternoon. So let's forge ahead. We shall come back to this that time. All right, moving away from this, let's take another important report. Another important report also on TB Joshua, but we shall properly digest and analyze this. How TB Joshua raped me when I was 17, forced me others to do countless abortions. Former disciple and synagogue church member. Let me take it again. How TB Joshua raped me when I was 17, forced me. This is preposterous. Let me take it again. How TB Joshua raped me when I was 17, forced me others to do countless abortions. Former disciple and synagogue church member. This is coming from Sarah Reporters. You know, this if not that a Humanist TV, we don't appeal to sentiments. The headline is actually something that incites sentiment, it kind of raises concern from anyone that has a humanist feelings or human feeling. All right, we shall dissect this report during the show dedicated for this sake. All right, let's forge ahead and take another report. Let's take this important report. Opinion between feminism and womanhood. Working between feminism and womanhood. Waking 4:30 a.m. is enslavement by Israel Kazan. This is coming from Sarah Reporters. Between feminism and womanhood, waking 4:30 a.m. is enslavement. This is an opinion written by Israel Kazan Olalekan, as reported by Sarah Reporters. You can actually, read up the news, read up the report from Sarah Reporters, and find out these two important conflicting issues, feminism and womanhood. How do you strike the balance, feminism and womanhood? How do you strike the balance of cultural standards, social-cultural standards, and keeping to the tenets of gender equality, keeping to the tenets of equity, keeping to the tenets of humanism? How do you strike the balance? Because social-cultural standards have ascribed some gender-based rules which is what defines womanhood in quote. And now, how do you strike the balance between the two? That is why you must read up this report on Sarah Reporters and get the opinion of this gentleman. All right, moving away from this, let's take another important report. That important report also coming from Sarah Reporters. Nigerian police reportedly detained couple and their 10-month-old baby for days for complaining about assault by a military officer in Ogun State. Let me take it again. Nigerian police reportedly detained couple and their 10-month-old baby for days for complaining about assault by military officers in Ogun. This is coming from Star Reporters. You know, it is odious, disheartening, and lugubrious how our state, how the Nigerian state has denigrated, how the Nigerian state has deteriorated to the point that seems of no return. How do you arrest a 10-month-old baby? Yes, even if you suspect that the parents must have committed, because the only time you arrest a person for investigation is when the person have committed an offense, not when the person complain you arrest the person. That is victimization. That is victimization. Instead of protecting lives and property, the police now resort to victimization. So how do you arrest? How do you arrest a 10-month-old baby? 10-month-old baby. How do you do that? Even if the parents committed any crime that warrants them to be suspect, that should be invited for investigation, should that involve an innocent child of 10 months? You guys should have sense. And nobody is saying anything about it. Everybody is just keeping mute. Maybe, yes, you have turned to, intimidation bulldozer, intimidation machine. Maybe people are not eager to speak up. People don't want to speak up so that you not arrest them again, just as you arrested this couple and their 10-old baby. In quote, 10-month-old babies. Let me not even say yeah. Let me not even say yeah, because if it has reached yeah, I will say that yes, a 10-year-old child may be subjected to juvenile court prosecution, but this is a 10 months old baby. What offense has this 10 months old baby committed? What offense? Something is systematically wrong with our people, with our security operatives. All right, let's move away from this and take another report. You'll see. All right, 28-year-old Nigerian female ammunition supplier to bandit arrested in Kano Expressway. 28-year-old Nigerian female ammunition supplier to bandits arrested on Kano Expressway. This is also coming from Sarah Reporters. That 28-year-old Nigerian female ammunition supplier to bandits has been arrested on Kano Expressway. This is coming from Sarah Reporters. Even in the study of criminology, we take it that women are not into crime. But you never can tell. Because the system hardly suspects the female folks. So they are being used for criminality in some cases, and they go with impunity. But sometimes you even see the police arresting some men that are innocent. If you visit some prisons in Nigeria, if you visit some correctional centers in Nigeria, you see that some of the inmates, some of the pre-trial inmates are innocent, maybe victims of circumstances, or that they are in a place they are not supposed to be at the time they were being arrested by the police. And you know what these people do? What these people do? What the Nigerian police do? If they arrest randomly, and after investigation they see that you are innocent, they will demand for money. If you don't give them money, or if you are poor, or nobody comes to ask of you, they will shift you to correctional center. Yes, when I was in the second year, in the university, I and my team, ADL Society, had a prison visitation to Enugu State Prison. There were some persons that we met there that made us, that reported this to us. That one said that he was just at a place in the night and police came for random arrest and he was arrested. Moreover, the young man is not even, I've even forgotten his name because that time we were students and you see, the society, nobody wants to do free things, nobody wants to do pro bono services. Even some persons that come up and, you know, give themselves this self-styled term, human rights lawyer, sometimes do it to chase clout. Yes, some of the human rights lawyers I know do it to chase clout, and though it is not easy, human rights activism is not easy. In fact, uh, yes, some of the human rights lawyers are actually trying. Just that the percentage of human rights violations in Nigeria, human rights violations in Nigeria supersedes the human rights lawyers, outnumbers the human rights lawyers. So sometimes there may be 15 dedicated human rights lawyers, but the human rights violations we experience in Nigeria may be hundreds. So which one do you tackle? So some of them are trying, while some are just there to chase clout. I must have to say that. So that is the case. So women criminality is not well pronounced. Sometimes you may even see a lady, a criminal lady, and you will pass the person by and arrest the innocent man because he or she, because he possesses some qualities that you feel that is why in our criminal justice system we fail to differentiate between atavism and stigmata. You can have a stigmata and you're not a criminal. You can have a stigmata and still you're not a criminal. So that is what we fail to differentiate: atavism and the import of atavism, or how atavism causes crime, as opposed to, identify criminals with mere stigmata. That is a criminological issue that have not been tackled. All right, moving away from this, let's take another important report. On this one. This is this is coming from Humanist TV News. I won't take the FCT minister Nyesom Wike seriously until he climbs that. Sorry, I won't take the FCT minister Nyesom Wike seriously until he clamps down the practice of Muslim faithfuls indiscriminately blocking public roads in Abuja for their Friday prayers. This is coming from Hype Ebunen. I won't take the FCT minister Nyesom Wike seriously until he clamps down the practice of Muslim faithfuls indiscriminately blocking public roads in Abuja for their Friday prayers. Hype Ebunen. HTV News. This is another topical issue that I think may actually, constitute a show, a full-fledged show here on Humanist TV. It is everywhere in Nigeria, in Lagos, in Abuja, especially some of these main cities that should be respected, that should be treated with respect, which is being regarded as the landmark of Nigeria. You still see the Islamic people dominating the public space. Let me refresh your mind a bit. Last year, a tricycle rider, was lynched by some Muslim faithfuls in Lagos State because he protested the public blockade by the same faithfuls praying. Why not go to your mosque and pray? If that particular mosque you want to go did not contain you, go to another one instead of constituting nuisance. That is public nuisance. The problem we have good laws in Nigeria, in Africa, but sometimes the problem is implementation. The laws we have in Nigeria, if implemented without any form of favoritism, I think to a reasonable extent, secularism will be preserved. To a reasonable extent, there will be religious tolerance in the society. Because under our thought laws, law of thought, under our thought laws, there is something we call nuisance. Nuisance is a tortious wrong. And under nuisance, we have public and private nuisance. And one of the acts that constitutes public nuisance is blocking the public pathways, blocking the ways, blocking the roads. And you see these people block the roads, and the police does not do anything. Do you know that public nuisance is even a criminal act? Public nuisance, and it is the Attorney General of the state that should prosecute such wrong to the society. Public nuisance. It is the Attorney General, though an individual can sue for public nuisance if there is a special injury. But it is the sole aim of the government through the Attorney General of the state or the federation to sue for public nuisance. And that is why, yes, Hype Ebune, a senior counsel, a senior lawyer based in UK, is speaking as a lawyer because he understands the rules of law that regulates public nuisance. FCT does not have a governor. The person that acts both as the governor and a minister is the minister of FCT. So if Nyesom Wike, after all this bragging, if he claims to know the rule of law, if he claims to know the knowledge, to have knowledge of the law, what he should do is to call the Attorney General of the Federation, or make an order, make an executive order against these people always coming on Fridays to constitute nuisance. But the problem is that there is double standard in Nigeria. That is why there seems to be disaffection among people in Nigeria, because there is favoritism, there is double standard in everything. Once it involves religion, people don't always speak the truth. And this has, continually led to disaffection, to dissatisfaction, to conflict in Nigerian states. So this is a good advice coming from Hype Egudi to the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, who is also the former governor of Rivers State. All right, let's move on from this and take another important report. Police arrest a pastor, 43, for alleged defilement of 16-year-old girl. Police arrest pastor 43 for alleged defilement of a 16-year-old girl. This is coming from Vanguard News. The menace of Nigerian clerics have become a topical issue. In fact, this will form part of my afternoon show, where I'll be talking on TB Joshua, Nigerian pastors and deceit. You don't claim to be a mentor to the people, whereas you violate them secretly. A lot of church members go through a lot. They go through some of these things. They are being violated. They are being abused by the people they look up to. But I can't speak up. These are just, you know, a few, an infinitesimal people that come out to speak up. Or maybe the person is coming from a reputable home, or the person just gathered courage to speak up. This is just a little compared to what people go through every day. This is just a little. All right, we shall dissect fully this the menace of these pulpit bandits, where we come right back in the afternoon. All right, let's move on from this and take another important report. How rising carbon monoxide emission expose Nigerians to poisoning. How rising carbon monoxide emissions expose Nigerians to poisoning. This is coming from Punch News. This is coming from Punch News. You know, some of these things should be regulated. The level of emission of carbon dioxide should be regulated in our various factories. It's also part of public nuisance. It's also part of nuisance. A person that stays close to these industries that use some of these things can actually bring an action. Just that in Nigeria, we don't have litigation conscious people. If Nigeria were to be a litigation conscious society, I think there will be floodgate of cases in our Nigerian courts. But you know the reason why people don't go to court in Nigeria? Because of this regime of autocracy in Nigeria that has replaced democracy, where election tribunals have made Nigerians to lose faith in the judiciary. The judiciary has now comported themselves in such a way that people do lose confidence in them. Like, I will come to that show. That show will be held on Saturday, where we analyze the recent Court of Appeal ruling against a case filed by Atheist Society of Nigeria against using taxpayers' money, the government funding the building of a worship center in Cross River State. We shall come to that in our Saturday show. I'm still investigating the matter. I've considered some journalists to investigate that matter. I'm also, looking forward to getting the certified true copy of that ruling by the Court of Appeal, which okays the use of taxpayers' money to build worship center in a purported secular society as provided by Section 10 of the 1999 Constitution. All right, let's move away from this. From this and get going. Let's move away from this and take another important report. Use of vagina rings will reduce HIV infection, says gynecologist. Use of vagina rings will reduce HIV infection, says gynecologist. Is coming from Punch News. Make una come here, Ramu, that use of vagina rings will reduce HIV infection, says gynecologist. All right. Let's moving away from this. Let's take this important report. Senior Vatican officer makes case for married Catholic priesthood. Senior Vatican officer makes case for a married Catholic priesthood. This is coming from Reuters Daily Briefing. It baffles me that the Roman religion has enslaved people to this point. Though, for me, you can quote me anywhere. For me, I regard celibacy in the Catholic Church as a prank, as a religious prank, as a denominational prank. I regard that as a prank, a denominational prank. You, yes, it's a denominational prank, a religious prank. You can't come out and say you are this. Yes, you can't come out and say you are a celibate, whereas you are secretly, you know, making out. If you do your investigation without bias, without speaking, without bigotry or speaking from both mouths, you will see that those set of persons may have a way of, satisfying nature's core. Because let me tell you, sexual feelings are natural. It is a natural instinct that comes with age. That is why from adolescence and puberty stages, you begin to develop sexually. So there's no way you reach certain extent that you will not, express these sexual feelings. You may masturbate, you may do that, but there may be masturbation. It may even lead some of them to gay practices. It may even lead some of them to hypocrisy. Because when you claim publicly to uphold celibacy and in secret you know you make out, you are a bunch of hypocrites. In fact, hypocrisy is your surname. So that is why I'm in favor of this. Allow these people to publicly express their sexuality. Allow them, allow these people to be real. Allow them to be sincere. Stop propagating a belief system that encourages people to be hypocrites. Because I know celibacy is not possible. It's not possible. No matter how you claim, though religion gives some of you guys license to be unreal while claiming to be real. But realistic dudes like me, realistic people like me, we tell you nekwakwa. We tell you we don't accept that. We don't accept this this make believe you are proposing. Let me say it again. Celibacy is not possible. People must have a means of making out, whether it is through masturbation, whether it is through the real deal, the real making out. It is still a means of satisfying your sexual desires. So stop claiming. Better allow these people to begin to marry and express themselves without resorting to hypocrisy. All right, moving on from this, let's take another important report. Let me laugh before. let me laugh. Let me laugh before I give this report. Let me laugh. Let me laugh at the level of low mentality in Africa. Okay. So with this report now, will someone say that some of these people are not, businessmen that sell nothing? These are businessmen that sell nothing. Okay, Ray, let me put the report. Adebaye, or what will I even call him? Okay, let me pronounce your name very well. Adeboye bans external preachers, non-members for preaching as Redeemed Christian Church, threatens to sanction violators. You can imagine, Adebayo bans external preachers, non-members from preaching at Redeemed Christian Church, threatens to sanction violators. Yet you think this man is not there for business. You claim to have a similar religion, Christianity, whereas you are discriminating. Even the Christians are confused. There is confusion in Christianity. They're not even united. A Catholic will think he's doing it better than a Protestant. A Pentecostal will think the Protestants are doing it wrongly. You guys are even fighting yourself. That is why there are even intra-denominational problems. There have been intra-denominational problems Then he graduated to an interdenominational problem. Then from interdenominational problem, you get to inter-religious conflict in the society. Conflict everywhere. Which is to tell you that it's just there to protect his own business. In fact, Redeemed Church is purely Oyedepo's business. Redeemed Church is purely Adebayo's business venture. That is why he does not want another person to preach something that is against the mission and vision statement of his business. Every business has its own modus operandi, mode of operation. That is why he leans against non-members, external preachers from coming to his business center to preach. Every person go protect his business. All right, matter don't tire me. Let me move away from this and take another important report on our desk. Another important report: Glo subscribers to be barred from calling MTN lines, says Nigerian Communication Commission (NCC). Glo subscribers to be barred from calling MTN lines, says Nigerian Communications Commission. Glo subscribers to be barred from calling MTN lines, says Nigerian Communication Commission. This is coming from Sahara Reporters. Let's look into another report, another important report on our desk. How my father, late Nigerian pastor TB Joshua, constantly abused me. Ajoke daughter had outside wedlock. How my father, late Nigerian pastor TB Joshua, constantly abused me. This is coming from Ajoke. The daughter the late pastor had outside wedlock. This report is coming from Sahara Reporters. This is coming from Sahara Reporters. We shall always come to this later in the day. All right, let's move on. Let's move on and take another important report. Zimbabwe gold mine collapse, leaves 11 miners trapped. Secular news. Zimbabwe gold mine collapse, leaves 11 miners trapped. This is coming from Secular News. All right, let's move on from this and take another important report. Which is the last but not the least. U.S. dismisses South Africa's case against Israel as meritless. This is coming from Secular News. U.S. dismisses South Africa's case against Israel as meritless. All right. That is for that. Let's go back to the studio. As we end the show, I still call on our people. I still call on people to always subscribe. Always subscribe to Humanist TV Africa on Facebook and YouTube. And you should always write us. Write to us. Write to us at info@humanistv.com, and you can always follow us on WhatsApp with the following number: +25 47 47 35 67 and 67. Thank you. I remain your humble presenter, Obasi Ikechukwu, that is presenting from Nigeria. We also have other great presenters from Ghana, from South Africa, from Sierra Leone, from even Senegal, even United Kingdom and United States. We are all over the world bringing you undiluted reports. We are here to promote love for humanity, critical thinking, and skepticism. That is why we are always reaching out to humanity. Thank you. Thank you, my able producer, Dennis. Thank you, the viewers. You can always drop your comments, and we shall be right back to address you by 2 p.m. today. Thank you. Thank you. I remain your humble presenter, Obasi Ikechukwu. One love to you all. Thank you.
It's a good ababuchibetu abanyamanga bugwachuwo ababuchibetu abanyamanga bugwachuwo tubasikaye alangila babuja kuitebana niramani dedeka timbeine yakaturonde ryeteriria ina timbeine yakazati tusome na mama manyifuta munaunza mezimendo mandaiwe. I love you daddy, I love you mommy, I love my parents, I love you all. Abana tusigaba kuchibetu itabana tusigaba kuchibetu ngaba kuchibetu abanyamanga bugwachuwo ababuchibetu abanyamanga bugwachuwo tubasikaye injo mubutinga muhambange kilasi ndiyugale kinarya kalinanywa ukabya bukire daina ndolo majingu na nyimbira imbo inabatera omubiri wa mama Nicholas Mati gaitina tinaya omumasata mbaminanyaya. I love you daddy, I love you mommy, I love my parents, I love you all. Abana tusigaba kuchibetu itabana tusigaba kuchibetu ngaba kuchibetu abanyamanga bugwachuwo ababuchibetu abanyamanga bugwachuwo tubasikaye. Babuji bakabona bona lebe yabana kubaka usibo kwa shanguda lebe shangu bimwere tukusika bona bona ide tuisha babuji mwire tubapendeke. I love you daddy, I love you mommy, I love my parents, I love you all.
Thank you.